Hello. So in this video, I wanted to get a preview of how my model was looking in Mudbox. And upon loading it in, I'm finding that I've got a few errors. This is a stray point here. Same thing, I've got a stray point up there. Five-sided polygon here. In fact, I think I've got more than just those. I think I've got a couple more. So, I don't know what's going on with this mess here in front of this torso piece. So I've got a few things to fix before I do the UVs and bring it into Mudbox. So I quit out of Mudbox for now. I'm going to go back into this file. And let's look at this piece here and see if we can figure out what's going on. Okay. That was easy to figure out. I've got an interior piece, an interior face. So that's a result of not deleting this interior face when I mirror. So let's see if I can just select that. So when you mirror, you got to make sure that you don't have faces like that. Okay. So that should fix that. Good way also of testing if you have any errors is just to grab a face, move it around, and if there's any stray points or anything, you can usually figure that out. And I know that I've got a edge here I need to fix, so let's go ahead and fix that. Same thing here. Know that I had a stray vert up here. Here it is. So I can just select that and hit delete and take care of that one. Delete on the keyboard for a stray vert, or just delete, either or will work. Also had a stray vert, and you can see it right here. So click on that. Delete. Whoops, that deleted the whole thing. So undid that. I'll just delete it with the delete key on the keyboard. So I can grab all these verts, hit delete, and it's only going to delete the vertex that is kind of stray here, that isn't connected by at least 3 edges, like these, or 4. So hit delete there, clean that up. So I think that's going to clean up a lot of things. Now what we can also do is select the mesh, and we can go into mesh cleanup. I'm going to reset my settings here. So this is also handy for finding errors. So if I were to click on cleanup, it would clean up the matching polygons with whatever options I put here. But rather than letting Maya just clean it up willy-nilly, I'm going to just say select the matching polygons. So I'll click on faces with more than 4 sides. And we'll apply to selected objects. So let's click on cleanup. So what that's going to do is just select a face that's got more than 5 sides. More than 4 edges, rather. And got a few of them. Although Mudbox didn't seem to care so much about all of them. And that's all as a result of having just cut my lines in. So let's go here to mesh and go ahead and hit clean up again this time. And we'll just click on clean up. So what that'll do is triangulate these edges where there are more than 4 faces. And then I'm going to go back and just selectively delete the ones that I don't need. Again, I could certainly find areas to turn into quads if I were going to spend the time at it. I'm not going to worry about that right now because I want to get my model done. Now, one thing you don't want are long, skinny polygons like this. They cause rendering errors. So I can leave the one that I've made. But I don't want like another cut here and get long, skinny polygons. I'm much better off to decide where I want the triangulation to happen. And I'm not too worried about how Maya triangulated the interior of the collar. So now we'll look at the model, just take a peek at the seams, and I can already see that there's an issue here. So take this and move it. There's obviously an issue where these edges aren't, where those verts didn't line up. So let's grab these 2 verts, scan them together. Deselect the ones in the front. Okay. Now I'll just select those and I'll click on merge. I'll select one and move it just to make sure that happened. Okay. So another way I could find out if I've got any issues is just move things like that. Everything seems to be in one place. Check on this side just to see if my seams are all sewed together, and if not, I'd see like a hole. So it looks pretty good. And no holes in the face. So I think I'm okay. I'm going to resave this model now. I'm going to delete the history and save this, save scene as GameGirl 47. And once I've done that, I like to save scene as and then just GameGirl. So that way I've got 2 versions of the model. This one is always the current one, and the last one is always the current one. So that way I've got a backup, and this is the one that I'm working with. I'm going to take it into a new app like Unbox. Okay, so I'm going to call that one done, and that's my story. And now I'm going to get on to UV editing. And before I start the UV editing, I also need to talk about the normals. I did that in the last video, but I wasn't narrating it. So if I were to go here to Mesh Display, let's just tear this off. And if I were going to go to Soften Edge, that's going to soften all my edges. So let's take this off so that everything renders kind of smooth. Select this again. And Soften Edge again. So everything seems kind of, you know, when you rotate it around, kind of mushy with these hard edges. So if I come into Soften Edge, Hard Edge, and then I can give it angular thresholds. So for example, anything 50 degrees or lower, click on Soft Hard. We gotta select the model first. And so now, with that angular tolerance, I can now see that these edges are hard. They render hard no matter how you rotate them. They have a hard appearance to them. Since I don't have as many polygons in the leg, then I wound up with also some hard edges here that I don't want. So at this point I can go in and kind of selectively decide what I want to be softened. So I'll select my edges. Let's grab these. So I'll just leave that one open, and here I'll just say Soften Edge. So now those edges are soft, but I still have these hard edges on the angles. Again, I've wound up with some hard ones here, so these, Soften Edge. Let's see if there's any other edges I need to soften. So a couple on the back of the arm. Probably some on the hair. Front of the arm too. So let's grab these edges on the arm. I'm going to turn on my back face culling. I have to click that twice to enable up the first arm. Okay, that's in at the back of the knees. I'll make sure that I keep the knee pads hard. It's kind of like rubber. So soften. So this is all important because like I say, Mudbox will recognize these hard edges. And so there might be a few more that I'll want to change. Soften Edge, and I've got a shortcut for that up here. And I'm probably most likely going to want to soften all the hair. So if I kind of go through and, harden everything that I want hardened in one fell swoop and then selectively come back and soften, I think I'm pretty good. And this is something you can always change. But the main thing is I want to keep these hard edges from these shapes in. Because when I take those in the mud box, it should smooth them. Or retain those when I smooth them. Which is definitely what I want. And the hair's not exactly right. I didn't spend as much time on it as I would have liked to. And I'll probably alter the hair a little bit in Mudbox. You know what? There's a problem here. Because I can see that it's just acting weird. Not sure what the deal is. I'm going to delete this face. This one too. Yeah, I still had another face inside, so I'm going to do that. Got it. Okay, so because I merged the two halves and I forgot to delete that interior face, I only previously deleted one of them. And it makes sense because there would have been two. So, when you just kind of inspect your model and you rotate around, and if you see edges that are shimmering, within the model, then that's kind of a good dead giveaway that there's an issue. Looks like I've got some hands that need to be softened as well. Save yet again. Changes weren't that dramatic, and I'll just keep going with this one. Okay, so texturing.